Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Now, JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar is going to come out of jail today on a conditional bail. That is the big story that we'd be tracking this hour. Let us begin with the headlines. JNU Students President Kanhaiya Kumar granted interim bail for 6 months. Stern observations by the court as it likens his offence to infection in a limb. JNU students celebrate court verdict. At least 16 villagers killed by Naxals in Narayanpur in Chhattisgarh. Killings after rebels suspect villagers to be informers. Government assures Rajya Sabha that it is discussing the issue of taxing employees' provident fund with all stakeholders. Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya clarifies final decision will be taken only after discussions. Rahul Gandhi's scathing attack on the centre in Lok Sabha says Prime Minister cannot run country only by a single opinion alone. BJP counters, says Modi is a hands-on Prime Minister. And United Nations imposes tough, fresh sanctions on North Korea. Vote after Pyongyang's nuclear test last month. Reports from South Korea say North Korea has fired short-range missiles into East Sea. Well, our top story: nearly 3 weeks after JNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested on sedition charges, the Delhi High Court granted him interim bail for 6 months on a surety bond of 10,000 rupees and with certain conditions. Well, the court also likened Kanhaiya's alleged offence to infection in a limb. Justice Pratibha Rani, who gave the order, was also critical of the slogans raised in the JNU campus, the eulogizing Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru.
ये जीत जो हमारे हिंदुस्तान के 450 यूनिवर्सिटी के छात्रों ने, प्रोफेसर ने और जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय के विद्यार्थियों ने जो एकजुटता दिखाया है, इन तमाम लोगों की जीत है.
Celebrations in the JNU campus on Wednesday after Student Union President Kanhaiya Kumar was granted interim bail by the Delhi High Court. Giving a conditional relief to Kanhaiya, court instructed him not to participate in any anti-national activity and also asked the JNU faculty to monitor his political actions. Kanhaiya is likely to walk out of jail today after submission of all the bail-related documents.
लगने को कोई बात नहीं,
पुलिस का केस कमजोर था और जल्दीबाजी में करने
कोर्ट का एक अपना फैसला है. कोर्ट के फैसले पर मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा.
However, Justice Pratibha Rani of the Delhi High Court, who granted 6 months interim bail to Kanhaiya, made some unusual observations in her order. Beginning her order with a patriotic song, the judge said, such persons enjoy freedom to raise slogans in comfort of university campus without realizing that they are in safe environment because our forces are there on the battlefield. Justice Pratibha Rani was critical of the slogans raised by the students on 9th of February on the JNU campus. She said, the thoughts reflected in the slogans raised by some of the students of JNU who organized and participated in that program cannot claim to be protected as fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression. The court also likened Kanhaiya's alleged offence to infection in a limb. Justice Pratibha Rani remarked, whenever some infection is spread in a limb, effort is made to cure the same by giving antibiotics orally. However, if the infection results in infecting the limb to the extent that it becomes a gangrene, amputation is the only treatment. She said that she was inclined to provide Kanhaiya conservative method of treatment to enable him to remain in the mainstream. However, the order did not cease politics over the issue.
ये बात साबित करती है कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा षड्यंत्र है. अब कौन है इसके पीछे? अब डॉक्टरिंग के बारे में तो अब रिपोर्ट भी आ गई सामने. अब ये जांच करनी है. असली जांच तो यहाँ पे होगी कि कौन करवाया ये सब.
We have been holding the position since the moment he was arrested. The charges are false. The allegations are false. The sedition charges are atrocious, false.
All the evidence which has been produced against Kanhaiya, today those evidence makers are also saying that 2 of the evidence were doctored. So it's not we, it's them who are saying.
GNU-SU President Kanhaiya Kumar was arrested for his alleged role in an event at GNU on 9th of February to mark the anniversary of the hanging of Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru, in which anti-India slogans were allegedly raised. Two other GNU students, Omar Khalid and Anirban Bhattacharya, who too were accused of raising anti-India slogans during the event, are in judicial custody. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Well, moving on now, the government is consulting all stakeholders on the issue of taxing employees' provident fund. Well, the move comes following a widespread outcry over the proposal, which was mooted in the union budget. The government has given an assurance that it is discussing the matter on taxing employees' provident fund with all stakeholders. This after there was an outcry against the proposed measure. Replying to a question in Rajya Sabha, Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya said there will be a final decision on this only after further discussions.
Regarding the EPF taxation, that EPF taxation already I have told him, but the stakeholders, we are under the discussion, sir. The many stakeholders are there, but stakeholders, we are under the discussion. Now I can't reveal many things, but our government is considering all aspects. That much I can say, sir. Regarding other question which he was asking.
Besides EPF, the Labour Minister also said that the government was considering the case of contractual and outsourcing workers.
Contracting workers and also outsourcing workers. This is also very serious matter, and we are discussing with all the people. Now we are also going to cover these two sections. One is contract workers and also outsourcing workers. We are going to cover under this act.
In the union budget presented on the 29th of February, the Finance Minister has proposed taxing 60% of the withdrawal from Employees' Provident Fund on contributions to be made after the 1st of April. The government has already hinted at a partial rollback. With inputs from Ravindra Shoran, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. News from Parliament now, where Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi launched a scathing attack on the central government in Lok Sabha on Wednesday. Now, singling out the Prime Minister, Rahul Gandhi said that the Prime Minister cannot run the country on his will alone. He criticised the Prime Minister for not consulting anyone over critical issues. He also charged the centre with muzzling voices of dissent, citing examples of the JNU case and the Rohit Vemula suicide case.
मोदी जी की फेयर एंड लवली योजना आई है, काले पैसे को आप गोरा कर सकते हो। इस योजना में हिंदुस्तान का कोई भी चोर अपने काले धन को सफेद कर सकता है, कहीं से भी उसने चोरी की हो।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's stinging attack on the government following the budget. Rahul questioned Prime Minister Modi's style of functioning. The Congress sign also alleged that even Modi's ministers are not kept in the loop over crucial decisions.
One day, the Prime Minister called all the senior opposition leaders and told them he had achieved what the Congress party couldn't achieve in 40 years. He told the Congress president that he had solved the Nagaland problem. According to the media, even the officials in the Home Ministry and the Intelligence Bureau had no idea.
नागा जो पीस एकॉर्ड हुआ है, वह उस संबंध में जो भी जानकारी प्रधानमंत्री जी को देनी चाहिए, बराबर में प्रधानमंत्री जी से मैं कंसल्ट करता रहा हूं, और इसमें राहुल गांधी ने जो कुछ भी कहा है वह पूरी तरह से बेसलेस है.
Rahul Gandhi also counting UPA's efforts in isolating Pakistan internationally. He claimed it was the UPA's efforts that made the world community accept Pakistan as an exporter of terror. Rahul questioning Prime Minister's handling of relations with the neighbour.
Without any thought, without any vision, he decides to take a detour to Pakistan. Just like he did with the Nagaland Accord. He did not bother to ask anyone. He did not bother to ask the armed forces. He didn't ask the intelligence people, not even the diplomats. He probably did not even ask Sushma ji.
उन्होंने ये कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री की लाहौर यात्रा के बारे शायद मुझे भी जानकारी नहीं थी। तो मैं रिकॉर्ड सही कर दूं कि अफगानिस्तान से जब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने प्रधानमंत्री नवाज शरीफ से बात की तो उसके तुरंत बाद उन्होंने मुझे फ़ोन किया और मेरी राय जाननी चाहिए और मैंने उन्हें कहा कि ये एक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स इनिशिएटिव होगा, इसलिए आपको लाहौर चले जाना चाहिए।
The Congress Vice President charging the central government with muzzling the voices of not only the people of the country but also accusing the Prime Minister of not accommodating views from within his own party. In a strong counter to Rahul Gandhi's charge, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley wrote on his Facebook blog that the Prime Minister is a hands-on leader and the UPA had only propped a nominal head for the post while the power lay elsewhere. Rahul Gandhi also took on the centre for its handling on the JNU issue and the Rohit Vemula case. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News coming in from Chhattisgarh, where the Maos have killed at least 16 villagers in the Abujmar area of Chhattisgarh's insurgency-hit Narayanpur district. Now, they carried out the killings, suspecting them to be informers in the last few days. The security forces have been rushed to villages to contain the situation. The forces have been directed to be extra cautious while moving into the forest so as not to fall into any trap. Now, PTI courts sources in the police are saying that some senior Maoist leaders had recently met in Abujmar after the Ultras suffered major setbacks in encounters with the police in the region. Meanwhile, as many as 23 Maoist rebels surrendered before the Jagdalpur police. The surrendered rebels were active in the Bastar Jagdalpur belts since 2004.
आज कुमा कोलेंग क्षेत्र से कुल 23 माओवादी समर्पण कर रहे हैं। ये वो नक्सली है जो कि बाहरी नक्सली का मेन ताकत बनकर वहाँ काम करते थे। अभी इन्होंने सरेंडर के बाद में हम इनको पूछताछ करेंगे और भी पूछताछ चलेगी और कई अहम जानकारी इनसे हमको प्राप्त होगा।
Well, we'll slip into a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned. What are the big ideas behind the budget?
The government must spend more, but the government must not raise taxes. Now, these kind of contradictions can only appear in columns. They can't come in the actual budget. But you had to make an all-out effort to stick to fiscal discipline.
What's the economic philosophy of the NDA government?
The first area is exports. The second area is the agrarian sector and low rural demand. The third, the banks have to be strong enough in order to support growth.
Hear it from the Finance Minister himself. Watch Spotlight on Arun Jaitley today at 1 p.m. Well, claims and counterclaims are flying thick and fast in the Ishrat Jahan encounter case after two former Home Ministry officials claimed that the second affidavit filed by the then UPA government in the case was tampered. Now, a member of the SIT appointed by the court in the case has claimed that the encounter was fake. This as the political slugfest between the BJP and the Congress continues over the 2004 issue.
The encounter of Ishrat Jahan is getting murkier by the day. Allegations and counter-allegations are flying thick and fast, and politics is hotting up over the matter. The BJP gave a calling attention notice in the Rajya Sabha over the issue on Wednesday.
नोटिस दिया हुआ है और जिस तरह से उसमें कुछ लोगों का रोल था और इस तरह से जो क्रिमिनल थी उस पर
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, in a sharp attack on then Home Minister P. Chidambaram, has said that the second affidavit filed in the Supreme Court by the then UPA government was fraudulent. The BJP alleging that it was a political plan to defame then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi.
After torturing a government officer by the other agency at the behest of the political leadership, you can understand how much misuse was done by the previous government with regard to CBI.
At the center of the storm is an affidavit filed by the Home Ministry under P. Chidambaram in which references to Ishrat's alleged links with Lashkar-e-Taiba was deleted. This affidavit was in stark contrast to an affidavit filed earlier by the ministry in August 2009, where it had argued that Ishrat was an LET operative and thus there was no need for a CBI probe into the encounter. The issue has been resurrected after Home Secretary G.K. Pillai claimed that the Home Ministry under Chidambaram deleted references to Ishrat's alleged links with the Lashkar-e-Taiba because Chidambaram did not want them to be a part of it. That was followed by former Under-Secretary in the Home Ministry RVS Mani's claim that he was tortured by some police officers to file the second affidavit.
अब किस लेवल पे ये दूसरा एफिडेविट का मसौदा बना इससे मैं ज्ञात नहीं हूं। मैं तो नोट बेचता रहा, मैं हरासमेंट सहता रहा, मैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कहा।
Now a counter to the two claims has surfaced with a member of the court appointed SIT team claiming that the encounter to eliminate Ishrat was fake.
IB इस पूरे मामले में अंदर तक इन्वॉल्व थी और IB के अधिकारियों ने इन लोगों को गैर कानूनी कस्टडी में रखा था और उसके बाद एक प्रीमेडिटेटेड तरीके से पहले से एक पूर्व योजित तरीके से इन लोगों का मर्डर किया गया कि ये इनकाउंटर सही है ये दिखाने के लिए मनी साहब ने वो सारी एफिडेविट में डिटेल्स लिखी थी जो IB ने ही उन्हें बताई थी। ये चीज़ें उन्होंने जब हमारे पास CBI के पास जब उनका स्टेटमेंट हुआ तो उन्होंने बता दिया। बाद में उन्हें लगा कि ऐसा नहीं बताना चाहिए तो उन्होंने मेरे ऊपर एलिगेशंस करने शुरू किए।
P. Chidambaram has said he takes full responsibility for the second affidavit. Congress President Sonia Gandhi has also backed Chidambaram in the case.
पिल्ले साहब आजकल कहाँ काम कर रहे हैं आपको मालूम है? गौतम भाई अडानी जी के यहाँ काम कर रहे हैं पिल्ले जी। जो मनी साहब जो हैं उन्होंने अपना बयान 2013 में दिया था, मालूम है आपको कि पार्लियामेंट अटैक में षड्यंत्र बीजेपी NDA सरकार का था। ये सब लोग वो हैं जिनके ज्ञान चक्षु रिटायरमेंट के बाद खुलते हैं।
With a new revelation every day, the Ishrat case seems poised to be played out as a big political battle in the day to come. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some international news now. In just hours after United Nations imposed fresh sanctions on North Korea, Pyongyang fired short-range missiles into the sea off its eastern coast. Now, South Korean Defense Ministry confirmed the report. Under the new sanctions, all cargo moving in and out of North Korea will now be inspected. Also, 12 organizations have been blacklisted. The vote came in response to Pyongyang's nuclear test last month.
The result of the voting is the following. The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2270/2016.
The United Nations unanimously adopted a US-China resolution expanding sanctions on North Korea, the toughest in 2 decades.
Stroke 2016-202, please raise their hands.
16 new individuals and 12 organizations in North Korea have been blacklisted.
As the resolution that we have adopted today underscores, virtually all of the DPRK's resources are channeled into its reckless and relentless pursuit of weapons of mass destruction. The North Korean government would rather grow its nuclear weapons program than grow its own children.
North Korea's nuclear weapons and missile programs are the greatest threats to peace and security in my part of the world. If we are unable to stop Pyongyang's continued pursuit of a nuclear arsenal, it will fuel vicious cycle of a regional arms race in an already heavily armed region.
Under the new sanctions, a ban has been imposed on the export of coal, iron and iron ore used for North Korea's nuclear or ballistic missile programs. A ban on all exports of gold, titanium ore, vanadium ore and rare earth minerals. A ban on aviation fuel exports to the country, including kerosene-type rocket fuel. There is also a ban on military and police cooperation, closing down North Korea's training programs abroad, especially in Africa. Upmarket watches, watercraft, snowmobiles and other recreational sports equipment have been added to a ban on luxury goods. Countries working in North Korea's financial and banking sector are now obliged to freeze the assets of companies and other entities linked to North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. The expanded sanctions comes in response to North Korea's latest nuclear test on January 6th and February 7th. However, Pyongyang continues to defend that it was a peaceful satellite launch. North Korea has been under UN sanctions since 2006 for earlier nuclear tests and multiple rocket launches. The US-China brokered resolution was the result of 2 months of bilateral negotiations involving US President Barack Obama and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. China then agreed to support tough sanctions proposed by the US. However, Beijing is very concerned about the possible deployment of an advanced US missile system in South Korea, a real cause of concern for the North Korean ally. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from the US. Well, just a day after Donald Trump's big 7-state victory on Super Tuesday, the Republicans are speaking out against him, pointing at a clear rift in the party over Trump's nomination as their presidential candidate. Now, multi-billionaire Trump in his victory speech had described himself as the unifier, but he's strongly opposed by party veterans. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham warned that Trump would lose in November's election. Meanwhile, another Republican, Ben Carson, said that he might drop out of the race. Former Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney has said that he would make a speech on Thursday in which he is expected to challenge Trump. After Trump's big victories on Super Tuesday, he has emerged as the most likely Republican candidate to race for the White House.
The political class and their minions, which includes much of the media, they don't like it when someone challenges their authority. And I think I'm probably the epitome of someone who challenges their authority. And I absolutely have refused to cooperate with the billionaires and the special interests, and they don't seem to get it.
Let's get to some more international news now in World Wrap. The United States says that it does not want China to use its navy to intimidate fishing vessels from other countries in a disputed area of the South China Sea. US said this after Philippine officials said on Wednesday that China had sent as many as 7 ships to Quirino Atoll in recent weeks, preventing Filipino fishermen from accessing traditional fishing grounds. While China, on the other hand, accuses US of raising the South China Sea issue to contain its rise in this region. 7 men were killed in armed clashes with the Jordanian special forces. Jordan's intelligence agency said that these men had ties with the Islamic State extremist group and had planned attacks on military and civilian targets in the kingdom. The deadly confrontations sparked by an arrest raid took place late Tuesday in the northern city of Irbid. The men killed in the raid wore explosive belts, had weapons and explosives, and they were found at the scene. 18 fighters were killed in a car bomb blast that hit a Syria insurgent group in the southern province of Quintera. It is believed that the attack was likely carried out by hardline Islamists. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the explosion took place in a village of Al-Isha, hitting a base belonging to a Free Syrian Army group. The incident did not appear to be related to the current cessation of hostilities between the Syrian government and its allies and the non-jihadist insurgent groups. The European Union, faced with a burgeoning refugee crisis in Greece, launched a new aid program worth an initial 700 million euros. As the European states have closed borders following the arrival of nearly 1 million migrants by sea from Turkey last year, the Athens government has appealed for help to house and care for tens of thousands of people still arriving and now stranded in Greece. Well, New Zealand cricket legend Martin Crowe passed away at the age of 53 after a prolonged battle with cancer. Doctors had identified his condition as a double-hit lymphoma, a rare and aggressive blood disease. The former Black Caps captain scored 17 centuries and 77 tests for his country, leading his country between 1990 and 1993. He also played 143 ODIs for New Zealand. He made a considerable mark both off and off the field during a life spent in sport. Martin Crowe's 14 years wearing the silver fern saw the world's best bowling attacks dispatched to all corners by a batsman blessed with a wide array of strokes. And India and Bangladesh will be battling out at the final of the Asia Cup T20 tournament after Bangladesh recorded a stunning 5-wicket victory against Pakistan last night. Now batting first, Pakistan scored 129 for 7 in 20 overs.
In reply, Soumi Sarkar struck an impressive 48 as Bangladesh successfully chased the target, scoring 131 for 5 in 19.1 overs. The hosts will now play Indian outfit on Sunday's final at the same venue. More sporting action now in Sports Beat. India's women team cruised into the main draw of the World Table Tennis Team Championships after thrashing Croatia 3-0 in the second division group match. Manika Batra, Soumya Das and K. Shamini won their respective matches as the Indian Eves blanked Croatia and topped Group G. Bayern Munich slipped into their first defeat for 3 months when Bundesliga leaders suffered a shock 2-1 reverse at home to Mainz. Now Pep Guardiola's men gave a lackluster display and Mainz, who were at the 5th on the table, went 1-0 up when Genio Semperio scored in the 26th minute. Bayern then levelled thanks to a 25-metre drive from Arjen Robben in the 64th minute. Then Jean Cordoba then snatched the winner for Mainz in the 86th minute. Former president of Guatemala's Soccer Federation pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to charges that he participated in bribery schemes at the heart of a corruption investigation into world's soccer governing body FIFA. Now, Jimenez, the former president, entered his plea to racketeering conspiracy and fraud charges a day after being extradited from Guatemala. That's all in this news bulletin. Thanks for watching.
We have only exploited less than 1% of the